So moved, Madam Chair.
I'll second.
This was for Street.
Oh, hold on one moment. I think Jean's having problems.
While we're waiting, Zach,
Yeah,
Judith and I looked at number 1 on the agenda, and we thought that maybe you should take a look at what they're doing with the driveway, since it's such a iconic historic church.
yeah, that's kind of an odd one, isn't it? I mean,
I was
You mean
concerned about the material they were planning to use.
you're talking about old whalers?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, does this sort of thing ordinarily require a permit? I'm not familiar with the
well,
code
they're
there.
I mean, not a lot, but they're just doing
No.
a few things to the shape of it.
Right.
All of which makes total sense, but I couldn't quite understand what the actual surface was made out of, and it sounded like it was that business where you throw down stones and then you throw oil on it, and then you hope that it will,
Hold.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just
Well-
wondered, since the church is so famous, if there
Yeah.
wasn't something a little bit more in keeping with it.
Well, were they in the application, were they gonna sort of illustrate what that is so that we know what it's gonna look like? Or-
Well, I'd like to have a little bit more of an explanation. It was a very sketchy looking proposal.
Yeah, it was just sort of a sketch, and I don't think they provided, I mean, usually you want to see material samples if there's any question.
Yeah.
What
You know.
what application are you guys talking about?
Old Whalers.
Miller's Church.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oil and stone is a pretty standard driveway. Just depends what kind of stone they're gonna use, like crushed bluestone or,
Yeah,
uh,
right.
you know, it's widely used, especially around the area.
So the bluestone would be just from a visual standpoint, would not look, if you picture 1840s, you're probably talking clamshells,
Yeah,
dirt, dirt,
dirt,
but,
right.
but not little jagged points of grayish blue stone crushed somewhere in New England, that would just, the color might be off if they could. So we'll have to see. I mean, some sort of a pea gravel would be a better choice. I'm sure there's a cost issue, but well, we'll have to wait and see what they're proposing.
Well, the proposal, Zach, is all narrative and one-hand sketch of the alteration that they want to do.
Yeah.
So
I
they're
saw
doing the exact same stuff that is there now. They're just using the oil to keep it more intact.
Mhm.
You don't see the oil, obviously. It's just what Kerry says is just to keep
Yeah.
it
A binder for the,
binder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
actually reshaping and improving it and making a better sidewalk and everything else. And all that seems like a really good idea. So
Yeah.
it's just the material.
right. Well, if they can explain and describe that, then
Yeah.
you're probably good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose many of us who have driven into that driveway have found it difficult to make the turn.
right. They're
At
gonna
the
make that
curve.
easier,
You're gonna soften that curve so
right?
that you're not crunching up over it's more of a kind of a left-hand turn that you make. So I
Right.
think makes sense. You know,
Yeah, that was our only question.
yeah,
So Judith, maybe we can include this subject to clarification of the driveway material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's something that's on the full agenda, so we will
we can
talk about
discuss
it.
it.
It's not on the consent agenda. We removed it.
Oh, okay, I'm
Is
sorry.
there-
That's my mistake. I'm sorry, Carrie. Okay.
Yeah, it's for a full board review. That one, and also 37 Union Street and 11 Montauk also we moved to a full
From the
review.
two-person, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry for me just being, escaping from the meeting quickly, not intentionally. So let's go back to, last I heard, Steve, you were making the motion to approve the minutes from September 23rd. Do we have a second?
Judith did it.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Great, so that's approved. And now we will move to the consent agenda. And as you can see, we have 4 items. The first one is 22 Latham Street, and Moody Church. That is for them to put the solar panels on. And given that they will not be seen from either the front street or even from Roger Street, if we could approve that, could someone make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve 22 Latham.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right.
So, Jean, we're just
Can we
doing
just say
the
all
the consent agenda items as a whole.
Okay, great.
You can do
And
all 4 at once.
No one has any issues with any of them. I guess that's the way we really need to ask. If anyone had any issues with any of the 4. And if not, then if someone could make a motion to approve the 4 on the consent agenda matters.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we approve 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the consent agenda.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
That was Christian, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, terrific. And we'll close the consent agenda matters and we will open old business. The one item we have is 27 John Street, but I believe that they have asked us to adjourn. Is that right, Carrie?
Correct. So we just need a motion to table it to the next meeting.
So the next meeting would be October 28th.
Correct.
Could someone please make a motion to adjourn that to the 28th?
I make a motion to adjourn that to the 28th.
I'll second that motion.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Zach, thank you for your good work on that. So we'll be prepared when we get there. And now we will open up new business. So the first item that we have on new business is 23 Harding Terrace. And do we have someone on the line to present?
I don't see anybody. We want a second call that?
Sure. Make a motion to second call 23 Harding Terrace.
So moved.
Okay, so the next one would be 60 Walker Avenue.
And that's Tate Overton is here for that.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Great. Yes, I'm representing William Pollard III and Veronica Pollard for presenting 60 Walker Avenue. let me share my screen. Is that right?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Okay. This house, I'll just run to the site plan really quickly. 60 Walker had the unfortunate fire last winter, which burned a back portion of the existing structure facing basically northeast. So the Pollards contacted us to fix that, so remedy and repair for the sake of insurance, et cetera. But in doing so, they figured they'd like to reconsider that rear space. The room was kind of small as a rear kind of den area. So they wanted to renovate it to make it a little bit more functional and nicer and part of this fire repair scope. So that's, I'm essentially presenting both combined into one presentation. I'll cut back to the finishes in a moment. I have to remember exactly what they are. The existing conditions are here, this back living room space. There is a window there. There's a fireplace. There's a rear deck, all of which were impacted by the fire. In fact, the entire house was impacted by the fire, of course, where the fire department had to cut open ceiling to let the smoke out, et cetera. So we're repairing the interior as essentially a gut renovation where fire damage to gypsum wallboard and all that occurred and wood floors. But as it pertains to the exterior, we're looking at this rear area, replacing the rear deck, and then we're also replacing the windows, essentially in kind and size. And then I'll talk through exactly what they are. There's an existing occupiable basement with existing egressable windows. There's no work other than interior fixture finishes to be repaired there. So again, before getting into the elevations, we're renovating the exterior on the back rear yard side of the house. The new wall, exterior wall wrapping around the corner here all the way around. New skylights above, new ridge beam above. This is the roof plan where we have a new hip ridge sort of in reflection to the existing hip at the front. The roofing is asphalt shingle, is fairly new. It's a Timberline product, and we're matching it in color and style. And it's a Velux low profile fixed skylight. We're proposing 2 storage cabinets to replace the pre-existing ones here in the back. And then we're proposing a new footpath to go to the back deck. Oops. Sorry, I scrolled a little too far. The back deck, instead of it having sort of 45-degree angles and whatnot, we're carrying it as just a square or rectangular shape towards the back, with steps leading down to the backyard beyond, and a railing on the side. Again, the windows to be replaced are all the exterior windows that are called out with the window tags. There's some this is a full construction set for the Department of Building or the building inspector to review. So it's interior stuff as well. Don't really need to look at, I suppose. But the exterior existing, this is the south facade. You can see along the rear lot line, there's or the rear yard, there's the back deck that we're replacing. This is that existing punch out, just a single slope roof on it, fireplace beyond. This is from the north side, looking back the other way. And this is, again, that corner of that den that was burned, fireplace, that storage shed, that existing door we're replacing. And then the front facade has this, a shingle shake, large scale shake facade. We're keeping this. And the new siding will be a hardy board. And I'll walk you through the elevations here. So this is that south-facing facade and elevation. We're putting in a new double slider door to that new den space, a new railing system with a new step going back to the rear yard, the new fireplace, and all the new exterior cladding is, again, a hardy plank white siding material, cement board, and trying to keep in the same aesthetic style as the existing siding. The rear facade is this view here. And you can see this is the chimney. We're replacing the chimney or the fireplace and the chimney And we're cladding it as well with the siding that we specified. New storage cabinets below. And then the new windows in the addition, we have a picture window on either side of the fireplace chimney. And then we have a casement, operable casement next to that. So it's a double unit on either side, mirroring. At the interior bathroom and kitchen, we're replacing the double hung windows in kind, they're currently double hung. And then where we're replacing existing windows that are double hung, we're replacing them with a casement style window. And that's to simplify them and have more sunlight basically in the rooms. We're not adding windows to any of the rooms other than the new rear addition, but we wanted to try to bring in more light. The pitch of the new addition, hip roof, is matching the existing pitch of the house. Swinging around towards the north side elevation, we're replacing that large window unit that was damaged in the fire with a large picture window and two casements to the side. Again, those skylights, profile of the storage shed, and we're replacing this exterior door that leads to sort of side entry. The front facade, we're really not changing much other than we're replacing the windows. The basement windows we're keeping, they're relatively new when those were made addressable. And then some renderings. I'll just try to zoom in so you can see this okay. Front facade, and then the side we're really not impacting. And then that's the addition in the back. Going around to the back, this is the north facade here. This is that new hip roof, skylights, chimney, storage shed, or storage cabinets rather, door windows up above it, and then the new deck here. Looking the other way, the railing, footpath, storage sheds, double slider door, and then this side is really the existing front facade with the new windows. We are removing existing vinyl shutters that are inoperable. They're fake shutters, so we're just getting rid of them. They have no purpose. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I should clarify in the rear yard, just jump back to the site plan. We are, there we are. The new deck and the new addition is too close to two existing trees that are right next to the deck right now. So we're proposing to remove those. However, we'd like to plant two new dogwoods in the backyard at kind of each corner of the property to replace those lost trees. Please, if there's any questions, let me know.
So one question I have, the new chimney that you're putting, was there originally an existing chimney there, or that's just new in total?
There is an existing chimney. Let me see if the picture.
And is that where the fire? No, I know there's that chimney on the side, but was there a chimney where you're putting the new white chimney?
We're kind of taking this room and stretching it by 12 feet. So there was a chimney here. This brick fire. This is a brick chimney that was there. We're replacing it with the clad chimney.
Okay.
And we're elongating the back of this room. And the fire was not from the chimney. The fire was just kind of an unfortunate side story that talk about when we bump into each other in the street.
Okay. Yeah, no need to share unnecessary.
It's kind of a interesting.
I was at that one.
Christian probably knows. Christian.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
So was I. You guys did a great job putting it.
Yeah.
You saved the community, really.
Yeah, seriously, with the proximity of the house adjacent and the trees, for crying out loud in this dry winter. I should also clarify that the new windows in their finish are matching the existing. So they're finished with white trim exterior, and the doors are the same. So the new sliders have a exterior white trim to match the existing.
And that's for the casement and the double hung?
Correct.
Okay, great. Anyone else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say that I think it's a wonderful design, and it's really well done. And I like those picture windows with the operable casements on the side. That seems, not only do they look nice, but it seems very practical. So I think the whole design is really well done. And
I
so
agree.
I'm all in favor of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Great. So given the nice job that was done, and obviously there's a great need to have this addressed as soon as possible
Yeah, yes.
for the owners and for the neighborhood, as Steve says. I'd like to ask someone to make a motion.
I move to approve the exterior alterations at 60 Walker.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated.
Um, Okay, great. Right now we will go, as we had some initial conversations about the First Presbyterian Church at 44 Union. Is Pam presenting? Oh, see, given that initially they didn't think they needed to attend, so we can discuss.
I just got an email clarification that the driveway will look the exact same that it looks now. They're just putting oil and with a special gray stone pressed into it to match exactly what is there now.
And then it will also be, I believe it's 3 feet further from the steps to make that curve easier, as I think, Zach, you were saying how making that turn can be a little tight. And I think with all the traffic and all the use that the church does and everything it does for the community, whether it's the trucks or just regular people driving a regular sized car, to be able to have that access, and then for people walking, that it's safer as opposed to the kind of broken up gravel as well as broken up sidewalk.
Yeah.
And
Seems like an appropriate improvement, and if the appearance of it is it's being presented, that the appearance will not be different from what is there now. So
It'll probably be different because right now it's got a lot of potholes and things, and it'll be smooth, so that'll be nice.
it'll be smooth, right?
exactly.
I guess in terms of the color, it won't be different.
Yeah,
Certainly going in the right direction, and then to know that it will be the same materials and color, and that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so given that everyone then understands exactly what they are requesting, when we agree to need, if someone could make a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Presbyterian Church driveway.
Also,
Sidewalk. And Steve, did you second? I'm sorry.
I did.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so now we will move on to 11 Harrison Street. Is anyone here for 11 Harrison at the moment? You could unmute. No, okay, so then we will second call that. Okay, so now we will move. All right, so I will, for the Marsden Street properties, which are 7, 12, and 15 Marsden Street, we are going to need to have a public hearing, given the nature of the new development. And that date those three properties will be moved to November 18th. And we will, they are aware of it, and we will make sure the public can come and have any thoughts or opinions on it at that time. So those will all be moved. And now we will move to 11 Montauk Avenue.
38.
Do we have to make a motion that they have a public hearing?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you,
Thank
Judith.
you, Judith.
Thank you, Judith. If I can make the motion that we would move the three properties, 7 Marsden, 12 and 15 Marsden Street, to November 18th for a public hearing. If someone could second that?
I'll second that motion.
Great. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
38 Lincoln.
Right, so now we're going to go to 38 Lincoln. Because he was the 24. 24 Lincoln.
Lincoln is renovations to kitchen, bathrooms, construct in-ground swimming pool. This is one that they kicked back for screening. The applicant for the applicants.
We're going to, let me just see. Marcus Samuelson, 38 Lincoln. Is anyone here to represent them? Okay, we will do a second call on that one as well.
That was on the consent agenda, so they may not know that they should come.
I called them.
Oh,
That was the screening question that we had.
yes.
Okay. So now we will move to 11 Montauk Avenue.
Good evening, Anthony Vermandois, 68 Union Street, and I'd like to screen share.
That'd be great. Thanks, Anthony.
Okay. Let me know if you can see me?
It's starting. It says started screen sharing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should see some photographs. Okay,
Yes.
so this is the house on 11 Montauk, kind of a pretty typical two-story Victorian. So it's a pretty decent sized property, but we'll look at the site plan in a moment. It's kind of a odd triangle shape formed by the acute angle of Montauk and what's the other street? Oh, Hamilton Street. So at any rate, the proposal here is to do just a one-story renovation of the kitchen and a one-story master bedroom addition. So if you look at this little one-story in the back here, where my cursor is, that is the existing kitchen, and basically we're going to want to build out the master bedroom addition out from that. So here, looking at the side elevation, be coming off of this wall, and looking at the front elevation kind of coming out like that. This just existing garage was in the, but we're not doing anything with that. Around the other side of the house, there is an existing screen porch, and the plan is to just enclose that with double hung windows. So I'm gonna try to go to the architectural drawings now. Okay, so here is the here are the elevations. So you've got the, I mean, we'll call the front elevation, although it's not facing directly onto Montauk Avenue. Here's the one-story addition coming out here. This is the,
We're not seeing that.
We're not seeing that.
you're not seeing that.
Oh,
We're still on the
Okay.
photographs.
Oh, that's weird. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, I see what I was doing wrong. Okay, can you see it now?
Nope.
No?
Oh,
No,
yes,
yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay, great. All right, so these are the elevations. You'll see that here is the what we'll call the front elevation, although it's not directly perpendicular to Montauk Avenue. This is the proposed addition, proposed one-story addition. Here's what we'll call the side elevation, existing 2.5-story structure, and then here is the addition coming out from there. This is the rear elevation. Here's that existing 1-story kitchen, and here is the addition coming out here. So we're building a little bay window in the master bathroom, which will pick up on the detailing of the existing bay window in the living room. There is a somewhat significant drop off in grade here from the front of the house to the back. So that's why you see more foundation exposed here than in the front. And then this is the other side of the house with that existing screen porch that we're planning to enclose. The windows that exist on the house are the windows that are in the existing house are a mixture of 2/2 and 2/1. We're ending up with the new windows that we're doing. We're going to go with 2/1. It was just a preference of the homeowner. Everything's going to match siding material, roofing material. Everything's going to match existing. Just want to show you a couple other drawings that we have going here. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that sort of odd site plan. So basically, this is Montauk Avenue, and then I think there's another property here, and then Hamilton shoots over that way. So it's a sort of odd triangular shape. Here's the existing house. Here's the 1-story addition coming off here. So you can see the front facade isn't really perpendicular to anything. So you can see in the file here, here's the, here's the existing building section, just showing how that existing kitchen works, and the master bedroom addition coming out here, same flat roof coming across. This is the bay window that we're doing that matches the existing, intended to match the existing bay window. And just finally here, here's the first floor plan, existing kitchen, which will be renovated, and then the master bedroom addition coming off to the side. So that's basically it. If you have questions, let me know.
And this is a historical house?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's historic district. I mean, I assume it's.
No, it is. It's a historic. It's a
definitely.
contributing house. Yes, in the district.
Yep.
I have a question.
Jean,
Right,
the write-up of the contributing factor is in the folder that you have out there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
While you have that on the screen, could you tell me what is the square thing with all the lines, and it seems to have a rectangle in the middle of it?
In the center of the drawing, almost.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah, what's that?
Oh, you know what? This is the interior. This is an interior building section that is just the built-ins in the master bedroom. It's
okay.
nothing you see from the
We're
street.
inside the
Yeah,
house.
it was just,
I
this
got
was
it.
such a small project. It was just easier for me to put all the interiors and the building sections
Yeah,
on the same.
Okay, fine, great.
So Zach, I have a question. I don't have any objection to what's being proposed. My question is, you usually like to have something distinctive to distinguish the addition from the original? Is the fact that the roof structure is flat as opposed to a hip roof, is that significant enough of a distinction?
Yeah, and I think that, to your point there, I don't know if you can still see the photographs. I'm afraid to try to open them up and lose the drawings, but the existing kitchen has that sort of flat roof to it, which is I assume a later addition with a very sort of gentle kind of slope to it. And I think that kind of differentiates it pretty clearly from the main body of the house. And this addition is really just kind of picking up on that theme. Yeah.
So the new bedroom is right off the kitchen.
Yes, I mean, in the internal floor plan, there'll be a little vestibule, so you're not stumbling from the kitchen right into the bedroom, but
Okay.
they're next to each other, yeah.
Mhm.
I actually have a little bit of a problem with the proposal. I think it's typical to see a low one-story extension off of the, big Victorian house, and that was the kitchen, probably a later addition. But it's effectively, when you're looking at the existing front of the house, thank you, Anthony, you don't see that one-story extension to the back. And therefore it doesn't, aesthetically, it's not a challenge. But to me, extending that one-story addition so far to the right seems so architecturally unrelated to the existing house that typically an extension to a house of this type would entail introducing a roof line that's compatible with it. Even in this case, if that meant to put a roof over the existing extension so that it all kind of ties together, to me it's kind of a jarring addition. The other concern I have is to enclose the porch by walling off to the left, by walling in between those posts. That's it's not uncommon to have these porches receive screened panels or removable storm panels to kind of weatherize and winterize them to a certain extent. But to infill and to make that a proper room by walling between the posts it's not aesthetically respectful of this Victorian house. It's the sort of thing I'd expect to see being done in the 50s, in the 1950s, not now. So that's my opinion aesthetically, and that's what you're looking at. Also, I find that seeing this presented at a scale like this is all just like hard black and white areas. You're not seeing any, it's hard to make out, Anthony, what you're doing with those windows, and what is that, clapboards underneath them where you're closing the room?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't see
So,
any.
I just want to go back to see if I can go back to the photographs. Just bear with me. So this is the existing porch that we're planning to enclose here and here. So I mean, there are existing screens there. I mean, so literally all we're doing is filling that infill in with double hungs made to size there.
Okay, but respectfully, Anthony, it's not just about what you see now. Even through this photograph, you can see through the screens and you see the facade of the house. If you introduce actual windows there, I understand you're saying that that's no longer the original posted porch, that it's gotten a knee wall, which is sided below. Okay, I get that. But I still feel that making that a room of the house, as opposed to a screened porch, which is an original feature of the house, is kind of a, I don't know, you might say it's kind of a bridge too far for me. And I think the size of that back extension, which exists and is not all that aesthetically pleasing, but it is what it is. But to make it almost 3 times the size of what it is now, and to extend it beyond to the side so that it now becomes a feature of the front of the house, the house as viewed from the front, exaggerates, just for my thoughts, exaggerates how incompatible it is. If you were coming in with an addition to this house, you'd be proposing a gable roof. If you were just sort of extending it off to the side, the applicant wants more space, a bigger room. I would guess that you would be adding something off the back that would mimic the architecture of the front. And it would have a gable roof on it. And therefore, but it would be lower, but this elongated flat roof thing, I think it just doesn't.
So, the reason why we can't come off the back is basically, I mean, we have a setback here.
I'm sorry, that's not what I was saying. The flat roofed extension exists off the back of the house.
Right.
And what I'm saying is to extend that as you have to the side, all of which is an extension to the back of the house. It nevertheless now brings that new construction, which is flat roof, now visually a part of the front of the house. It's no longer sitting within the width of the house. It now brings it out. It's like now 3 times as long, and you see it as a feature of the west elevation. That's all. And I think that exaggerates that. It's the design of that is not compatible. That long flat roof looks like the roof is missing on a Victorian house. That's just my thought.
Okay. I mean, as far as that roof goes, I mean, we can certainly entertain putting a pitched roof on there. We do have pyramid issues, so I may be somewhat limited with what direction the gable could go in, but we do have the, we could entertain doing that, sure.
It's just an aesthetic suggestion. I mean, this is a large house to begin with, and now it's gaining a whole new room where a porch used to be, and now it's gaining another room on the other end. This thing is kind of, kind of spreading out on the ground level and becoming a much larger house that seems, somewhat, it's losing its Victorian character in that way, I feel. And it's a contributing building.
Anthony, if you make the changes to the roof, will you lose windows from the other part of the house? Like, will you be blocking?
Well, interestingly enough, we wouldn't need, probably wouldn't lose any windows from the addition itself, but you would lose the second floor windows from the over where the kitchen is, if that roof was to be contiguous.
So you just need to think about where it goes and how far.
So that's just my initial observation. It just seems that the 2 sections of the house don't relate to each other.
Anyone else?
So Zach, the question is, and I think I understand, I think I know the answer, but let me ask the question.
Yeah.
In order to respond to what you're suggesting or you're observing,
Yeah.
does the pitch on the roof of the extension have to have the same degree? So therefore the same height or a higher pitch than something that's pitched but lower, if you understand what I'm saying, then might allow more sight out of the windows, out of the second floor windows.
Well, I think I would say, I'm not the architect or the designer. I don't have all the issues that Anthony's confronting, but certainly a pitched roof of some sort, not a flat roof, would seem more compatible to the existing house. What I was saying is that back flat roof.
What if, I don't want to interrupt you, Zach, but
go ahead.
Give me for a second.
Yeah.
What if it was like this porch has a very, much lower pitch to it, something with a lower pitch to it, like that porch.
Wrap that.
Picking that idea up. I think that would be very doable for what we want to accomplish. Sure.
Sure. That alone.
It might even have a little flat part on the top of it, but you wouldn't see that from from
The
ground
Understood.
level, you would just pick up on the
To me,
pitch.
I think
That
just that
sounds good.
this is a pitched roof house, and
Yeah,
now it's got a
okay.
great big flat roof extension. And what's there now is very small, and you don't see it from the street, so it's not an issue. But just by making it that much larger and extending it to the side so that you now make it a feature of what you see from the street, it just exaggerates how incompatible that big flat roof area is. So anything you can do to kind of wrap that porch around,
Mhm.
flatten it, pitch it a little
Okay.
bit, I just think that would improve it.
Yeah, I
shall-
think
shall-
that's doable. Are we going to want to do a site visit for this one? Because I would want to schedule it right away.
It's up to you, Madam Chair. I don't need to see it. I think we've seen as much of it as we need.
I think we've seen it, Anthony,
Okay.
and we know it, just
Yep.
given the location, it's so central in the village.
Yeah.
But if you could come back with a suggestion of, what the proper height that, you and your client is happy with, I think that would be really helpful.
Okay, so I'll come back with a proposal for a pitched roof, something that maybe
Mhm.
picks up on the detailing of the porch, and
The
then
front
I'll
porch.
talk to the homeowners about
Okay.
not enclosing the side porch there.
I
No, I
have
mean,
I have one question, if I may.
Sure.
And that is there anything that shows the porch with windows in it?
Yes, so this, I've lost track of what you're looking at here, but are you looking at the two-dimensional elevations?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this elevation here shows that porch with the windows in it.
Oh, so the windows in the porch are going to be 2/1
Yes,
to echo. Okay, and then to the left of the porch, there it appears to be a window with lots of little panes in it.
yeah, that's existing. This is like an
Oh,
existing
okay.
little bump out that was put on. I have no idea
Yeah.
when, but
Okay.
that's basically what it looks like, believe it or not.
All right,
That's
all right.
existing.
thank you.
I'm sorry, Anthony, I don't want to be a nudge here, but wouldn't the 2/2s to mimic the ones on the second floor above the screened-in porch be a better, more contiguous?
I think
It's a question. It's a
Yeah.
question.
our thought was that some of the other newer windows that are existing in the house were 2/1, so just pick up that. But once again, if that's I think that's something we could rethink. Sure.
Zach hasn't mentioned it, so I'm not going to press.
Well, the other argument, Steve, would be that the 2/1 being used on the porch and on the extension kind of distinguish themselves from the 2/2s, which are original to the house. So it's kind of a subtle thing. To me, they're so similar that it doesn't pop out as a.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So Anthony, if you are comfortable with that, and obviously see what the homeowners, make sure that they're comfortable. And we can hear what their thoughts would be.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
sounds good.
So if I would welcome someone to motion that if we could table this.
Madam Chair, I move that we table this for reconsideration.
Thank you. Someone second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Thanks very much. I know. Now we're at 37 Union.
Right, so that's me as well, Anthony Vermandois.
Great.
All right, so am I still screen sharing here?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can attempt to get to the, just bear with me for a second. I'm going to try to get to the drawings for this other one. I'm going to go to the same thing. I'm going to go to the photographs first. Share this. Okay, can you see a couple of photographs here?
Yep.
Okay,
Got 'em.
great.
Mhm.
All right, so this house is on the corner of Union Street and Church Street. I mean, I'm sure you've all driven by this house. It's kind of overgrown as it is now, heavily overgrown. You can see that here's this photograph here is at the corner of Church Street and Union Street. So this is Union Street, this is Church Street. Here's the house itself. You know, here's for the Church Street elevation. Here's the, no, wait a minute, I'm getting confused here. No, yeah, no, this is, this is the Church Street elevation. This is the church, also the Church Street elevation. This is the rear elevation. See if I don't know if I have a good photograph of the Union Street elevation, but you can kind of barely see it because it's so overgrown. But at any rate, what we have here is sort of this, I guess, arts and crafts kind of two-story core, which has had this one story, it looks like maybe 50s or 60s, one story addition kind of wrapping around the house. You can see it here, how that works. So I'm gonna just jump now to the elevations. Okay, so I know this is the other project. Hold on a second here. Okay, so what I'm going to show here first is just briefly I got sort of the three elevations here compared, three of the four. Damn it. All right, can you see the A4 here? Yeah, okay, I just want to try to zoom in. Okay, so you can see this is the Union Street elevation. This is existing. This is proposed. I mean, basically, we're doing very little change at all to the building envelope for this. You can see from the rear elevation, existing, proposed. I just didn't render the shingles there. And then from the Church Street elevation, existing and proposed. So basically, the one sort of footprint change that we're doing is we want to recess a front entrance porch to kind of reorientate the house more towards Union Street than Church Street as it is presently. You kind of have to struggle to find the front door as it is. So this is to sort of recess a little roofed entrance porch here to get to the front door from Union Street. Basically replacing the existing windows, I'm just going to go to the proposed elevations here.
Just to be clear, the proposed is the bottom and the existing is the top?
No, in the last one, the existing was the top.
Oh.
But I mean, really there is, as you can see, there's very little change at all to the building envelope or the roof lines and what we're.
I see shutters on one and no shutters on the other.
Right. In our proposed, we're proposing not to have shutters at this.
So the top are proposed, the bottom are existing.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
So you are looking to reduce the number of fenestrations in the building?
Yes, on Union Street, yes. So right now on Union Street, there's sort of this odd kind of row of kind of 6 double hung windows into the row.
Mm.
What we're proposing here is to still have 6, but split them. It just sort of centers them better in the rooms.
Well, could I just interrupt quickly? I'm only thinking, if the top image is what you're proposing, why is that first story roof pulled closer to the
So, yeah, I mean, so we're
It's
gonna
short.
reframe the roof here. I mean, you would see if, when we do the
Okay.
site visit,
and
you'll see,
you're gonna make that much shorter
yeah,
than it presently is.
right. I mean,
Because
we'll make the flat ridge part of it shorter, yeah, just to pull that into the corners of the house.
Because the bottom image shows that the roof down below to the right projects, that whole thing projects about 2 feet beyond the wall of the house, and now you're
Right,
bringing it
and
back.
that's a little kind
Okay.
of funny flat roof
Okay,
area.
I
there.
just wanted to make sure that, so you're kind of pulling that extension back on both ends.
Yeah,
Yeah, got it. Okay.
I mean, not literally, but visually, yes.
Well, actually, because
Well, no, because you can see, I mean, everything kind of lines up here, just optically.
you're
By
so
changing
you're-
this pitch, you're
I
kind of
misunderstood.
pitching it in a little bit, right?
You're flattening the pitch of the roof,
Right.
not changing the length of the thing. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't quite understand. Mm-hmm. And that's a standing seam metal roof?
Yeah. It's a little, pitch is a little shallow for shingles. So-
Got it.
And we're gonna do
Sure.
cedar shingle on the main roof there where we have the pitch for
Uh-huh.
it.
That's a very smart door that you're putting in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, basically just a simple kind of craftsman door there.
Well, I mean
Little-
that because that's the presumed date of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to, I want to go to the better elevation. I mean, these are the fully detailed or fully labeled proposed elevations. So just it might be a little more informative to kind of just zoom into that.
Anthony, while you're pulling that up, are you gonna keep the gray cedar shingle on the exterior?
No, we're gonna new siding. So everything's gonna be at this stage. We're planning on doing everything white.
White, that's what I thought. Okay.
White what?
White trim, white shingles. White wall shingles, white wall clapboards. What we want to do is the 1-story part, the little wraparound, do this in clapboards, painted clapboards, and then the which would differentiate from what's there now, and then the 2-story element would be cedar shingles.
Uh-huh.
So you can see here's that little porch that we're recessing underneath the existing roof line with that door, and just a little kind of a tapered post to go with that.
It only has one post?
Yeah, it's tiny. It's it's a little corner thing here. Let me show you the plan here, the floor plan.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Andrew, on that last slide you were showing us with the post on the porch, there's no railing, it's just gonna be a post.
Yes. So this is the corner here that we're talking about. Stephen, I'm going to get back to you on that in just a second. I may have maybe contradicting myself on that railing, but just to show you what's going on here, this is the porch. Right now the corner of the house is like that. It's a hard corner. So we're recessing that front door into there to create this entrance from Union Street. This is the one porch in the corner there. So it's a tiny little porch, but it does serve the purpose of right now you have to walk around the side here and kind of search for the front door, which is just a plain solid door. So
that door that goes away. The old door goes away.
the old door, the old sort of, you have to search for it, front door goes away. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I may have a photograph of that in here somewhere. Let me
Yes, you do.
get that to you here. if you can see it, because I can't.
Mhm.
Not yet.
Yeah, all right.
We have the benefit of all the research you've been doing into Italian tassels.
Yeah,
So
Anthony, can I ask while you're working, if we can, are they going to be cleaning up any of the vegetation and things, or is that just gonna,
any of the, what, I'm sorry,
the landscaping? Like how-
yeah, in fact, I want to take a quick look here at the landscaping plan, because that's going to be pretty, it'll be pretty involved here. Where, I'm just kind of losing my. Let's see if I can find it here. I was doing so well, and now I'm, here we go. Oh, no, maybe not. Damn it. I'm having trouble, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble opening up the landscaping plan here. So I'm not sure how useful that's going to be at this stage.
You want Carrie to try to pull it up for you?
Yeah, Carrie, do you mind?
She's gonna try on the
Thanks.
landscape.
Let's talk about some other stuff here. Well, I have it here. So yeah, here's the detail on that porch there, the tapered post and the little plinth that sits on. And yes, no railing there.
Okay, we're not seeing that, but okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. So that's that detail there.
Mhm.
This is the detail here on the reframed roof there with that slightly shallower pitch, and you know, the new windows.
Can you scroll a little to the left?
Let me see here.
can you get away without having a railing there? Isn't somebody going to fall?
Yeah, I
off
think
the edge?
we're just under the code for that.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now I don't think I can see anything here. All right, great. Let me try something else here. Okay.
There we go.
So, okay. Yeah, so this is that rear elevation, or, you know, the elevation that isn't facing the street. Yeah, just a couple of things here. So there's, just with the chimneys, there's an existing kind of pipe chimney coming out of the roof now. We're going to wrap that in a frame and brick veneer to make that look a little more substantial. And then there's an existing brick flue pipe chimney coming through the middle of the gable here, which we're going to take that down. As far as the windows go, basically the windows are the second floor, just replacing the existing windows. On the first floor, you know, we talked about this one little change here, breaking that row of 6 windows into 3 and 3, 3 and 3, and then just a double window in the kitchen instead of a single window. This little panel detail underneath the kitchen windows is actually an existing detail on the existing window, which I guess they did to make them line up with all the other windows, and it actually works pretty clever. So we're just going to duplicate that in the new window.
Are any of the windows original to the house?
You know, I think that they are, but you know, they're 1920s and 1950s windows. They're not, you know, they're not I mean, I think the house might even be like 1930s, you know, it has like those arched,
It has a 1915 to 25 date in the survey.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
whether that's, I don't know, whether that's accurate or not, it could be, based on the
Anthony?
bracketed roof line.
Anthony, I don't
Yeah.
have the landscape plan. If you want to email it to me, I'll be able to, but I don't have it. I just have the pictures, the 4 pictures and the application.
I mean, we have hard copies of the landscaping plan.
Yeah, I have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and
The landscaping is
6A.
L101.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
All right.
Maybe let me just look at one here. No.
Carrie, I just emailed that to you.
Thank you.
So Anthony, just to go back, when on the sliding doors, so it's 3 steps going up to where you're going to be taking the fencing down. Is that correct? Or will there just
Yeah.
be 2 steps? I think it's currently 3.
Three what? I'm sorry.
The steps going up, like where you won't have the fence going around what the existing porch looked like. It was 3 steps going up to where that sliding glass door is. So you'll basically, you'll take that porch out, you'll take that.
Yeah. So we're kind of the way it is now. Let's get that elevation up. Yeah. So on the back elevation here. So there's there's a little. All right. So the front door, it's not even on the back wall here. It's actually you walk up these 3 little steps and then you turn right, and then there's the door here and this side of this bump out. So you don't even see it in elevation. It's very, very weird how they did it. So the idea here in this back elevation is just to kind of clean all this up, take this roof line, extend it out across all the way out to here. It's really the only change to the roof footprint that we're doing, and then create a little porch over that.
Gotcha.
Which would just be a sliding door into the living room.
Okay. Understood.
You guys want to see the landscape now?
Yes, please.
Anthony, can you just stop sharing for a minute?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's not letting me share.
Oh,
Harry, I managed to open it up on my computer. Maybe if I can try screen sharing again.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a large file. I think that's why I'm having trouble with it. Yeah, no, it's not coming through. I had it and
Something's coming up.
Something's coming.
yeah.
Looks like there's three
Wait,
versions.
something's happening here.
Looks like there's three of them. Yeah, it's starting to come.
It's taking a while to load.
Yeah, it took a while for mine to pop up too.
Okay, here it comes.
Okay, can we see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So here's Union Street. Here's Church Street. Here's the new rerouted entrance. Just so you know, the current front door is coming in through here of all places. There's also a little side door coming through the back here. Driveway is on Church Street. It will remain on Church Street. So right now the property is very heavily overgrown. To the point where pretty much the house is it's a hazardous situation for the house itself. So we are planning on basically clearing most of the trees around the house, or really all of the trees around the house, frankly. And but we do have a pretty, I hope, a pretty vigorous re-landscaping plan here for to modify. Oops, I shouldn't have done that, because now it's going to take forever to reload. Part of the reason why I think I'm having so much trouble here is I have so many tabs open. Sorry. Okay, here we go again. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. So a revegetation plan. A tiny swimming pool here in the back corner of the house. And rest is just lawn area.
And when we think about what's seen from the street, the majority really is this corner at the curve,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. So we've got like a nice London plane, sorry, that the landscaper is suggesting here, to anchor that corner.
You mean that's already there, right?
No, there is one there, but it's going to be, we have to take it down to do it, the work on the house. The existing trees, they're in poor shape, and they're basically leaning over the house itself. It's not even not really a safe situation.
And so you're gonna have a pool fence, a 4-foot pool fence around the side where the pool is. Will there be a fence coming around the corner as you go from Union to Church? Or you have a white picket fence there, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? Just bear with me 1 second. I don't want to lose this render again, so I'm just gonna look on my other screen here so I can read this. Shoot.
Well, the fence is delineated with the red.
Yeah.
dashes, that is the fence.
That's the pool fence. And then
Right.
right at the corner of Church, looks like there's a white wood picket fence.
Yes, okay, all right, I'm just gonna read this off of my other screen here, because I'm afraid that if I zoom in, I'm gonna lose the whole image. But yes, a white wood picket fence, just around that corner, where it turns the corner of Union Street and Church Street. But then the rest of the fence, what you're seeing in red there, is just gonna be a wire fence in the hedges. So
Oh.
he's got a 6-foot hedge around the rest of the perimeter there.
Do you
Okay.
have a picture of what the picket fence is going to look like?
No, I do not.
So maybe that we could supply that.
Yes, yeah,
Is it
Great.
just a standard white picket fence, pointed tops?
yep,
Okay.
That's
So
pretty.
if it's what we would expect and not any surprises, I think we could all be comfortable. It's just whether.
yeah. No,
extent.
it's just just a picket fence.
As long as it's not too
Not
fancy.
PVC.
No,
It's wood.
yeah, it's specified wood, white wood picket fence.
Okay, and the pickets are one picket each apart?
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe a little tighter than that.
okay.
So why don't you just send in a picture so that we have it in the file? So
Sure.
we know,
Okay.
I think it's a big improvement.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's kind of a house. Yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's a house everybody passes by all the time, but you don't even register that it's there because it's so
Right.
overgrown, and so
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
nothing's really been done to it in probably 50 years.
Okay, so are there any other concerns or questions? Or can I ask someone to make a motion to pass it, assuming that we would have a picture of the fence before we would stamp and sign approval, but we could do a verbal approval if we're comfortable to vote on that.
I'd be interested to know how large the trees are that are going to be put in afterwards, because I'm afraid it's going to go from being overgrown to looking like a desert.
Yeah, I unfortunately on this landscape plan, I do not have the tree dimensions, but I can get that added in as well.
That would be good. I'm hoping that some of them will be fairly sizable.
I'm sorry, Judith, is there a caliper size or something you're looking for, or?
I don't have enough knowledge of actual measurements, but I would hope that for instance, the plane trees might be not just tiny little 3-inch saplings, but something fairly substantial. Like, I don't know,
A more established
8
thing.
inches across, 10 inches across, more.
How about 10 feet high? Is that easier?
That might be better,
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
or even taller if you can do
Yeah.
it. If
10
your
feet or
client is
greater.
willing.
No,
Yeah, what I can do is I can certainly give you 10 feet or greater verbally, and then when we do the picket fence detail, I just want to run it by the landscape architect, make sure he doesn't have any objections. I mean, frankly, I didn't even realize we were going to be on the agenda tonight for this project, so that's why maybe not quite as prepared as I would like to be. But I can certainly get that specified if you can even go a little taller than 10 feet.
so
Great.
why don't we do this, and this is what I would ask for future. submissions, Anthony, that when you do submit, whoever you're working with on the landscaping side, that they include the height and the width on a general basis. I mean,
Yeah.
it can have a range, of course. But I think that's the things that are just going to help us to be more efficient as we go through this. And for the members of the board, that they can see it ahead of time. And, we all understand with the technology and the size of files, this is not easy, but I think that'll help us. But then having all that detail will clearly help us. And then obviously photos are helpful as well. So why don't we table this? You can get that information to us. And then I would say for the 14th, we could have it be a 2-person, because we would just be looking at the landscaping piece, because I believe, are comfortable with the changes and the renovations that you're doing to the house. So if I could have a motion on that, if everyone's comfortable and we vote that way.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to approve a motion that we conditionally approve this application and refer to the consent agenda prior to the next meeting for the addition of a landscaping plan, which gives height and dimension of the trees, I would say 12 feet or higher, and details around the fencing at the juncture of Union and whatever street that is.
Church.
Street.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. All right, Anthony, we'll look forward to hearing some more information from you and your client.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we need to just do a second call on those that were not here when we did the first call. One would be 38 Lincoln,
23 Harding,
23 Harding,
11 Harrison.
or 11 Harrison. All right, we will have to adjourn those to the 28th of October. And now we will close the new business portion and we will move to discussion items. So we would first look at 25 Liberty.
Okay, my name is Ralph Versitti. I presented to the board on, I think it was August 22nd, just outlining some of the parameters of the property as well as some of the constraints and the general direction that we were going to go. Since that time, we've Eric Peterson, who's the architect, and I have been iterating various alternatives and have settled on one that we are going to present this evening. Our goal is to present to the board to get some objective feedback on our overall direction and approach as we desire to move to a formal application and get out of the discussion items as soon as possible. Having said that, the drawings being presented tonight, they are conceptual, but there's been quite a bit of analysis to ensure the viability and that they do meet all of the zoning requirements. However, there's a lot of details shown that require further development and they can change. As I stated in August, we set out to develop a 100% variance-free approach. What we are presenting tonight met that goal. The design process did yield alternatives, as I said earlier, that were also variance-free, and in some cases were preferable. However, to address the board's desire for the existing structure to be more prominent, as you communicated last in August, as well as have the mass and scale be balanced and proportionate with the existing structure, we actually put aside some of the plans that maybe I preferred and are presenting a fairly nice plan, but not with some things that we had to take out in order to make this be, I think, a little bit more in line with what you were hoping to see. So with that intro, I'm going to turn it over to Eric to go through the material that we gave to Carrie in hard copy, but we actually supplemented it with a little more graphics and rendering in order to present tonight.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Peterson, and as Ralph mentioned, what we'll present is really conceptual, but we have, I have all the drawings to support. It meets setbacks and pyramid, etc. So if I can screen share, if that's possible, please. One moment, I'm sorry. So this is the proposed site plan, and I was hoping also to show the existing house just as a starting point. So this is taken from Liberty Street, the northeast corner, and so existing structure, 2-story. That's the rear side facing south. And this is the uphill view from Liberty. So just as a way of reference, and again, this is the existing in red, the footprint of the house. These are the 1-story portions of the home that we're proposing to alter or remove, and this ladder hatch is what's to remain. So the dark gray represents the proposed new work. The setback from Hempstead is 20 and from Liberty is 20, so that's what the building envelope here shows. And we have the pool setback also as indicated. The as Ralph had mentioned, he has other iterations that he's developed. This one was one that didn't require a variance, and we don't add to the already non-conforming nature of the existing house. All of the new work is within what's allowed by zoning. And just going to flip. So this is just a rendering, just representing what's just kind of a simplification of the existing house that we have, where we are planning on basically using the exact roof line, slope, roof pitch, trim in the same width, which is about 22 feet, and using that to develop this other 2-story element. There's a 1-story connecting bit, which is off of the 1-story existing portion of the house. And these roof lines are in proportion to the main house. So this is stepping down as the slope descends down towards Hempstead. The ridge is slightly higher than this, but given its distance from the original house, I feel like it's probably not as critical. The next, let's see. So this is just a 3-dimensional model without any rendering. And what we've done in the back is basically shorten the house by 6 feet, but retain the existing second floor. There is a portion that we are proposing just to fill in. The existing roof line is a smaller gable on the rear. And the idea would be to just fill in a portion of it so that it's the same as the front in terms of it just being kind of a symmetrical rectangle. That was just one concept that we were developing. So it works within just kind of how that one-story connecting element works. And, you know, that's balancing just kind of the mass and scale of the existing house to its related new parts. And this was in concept, this is what we came up with to maximize the amount of house that you can get as what's allowed as per zoning, but also being mindful of the original size of the house and the way the lot is obviously narrow. So the house is pushed back as far as we can in relation to its setback. It's right up against the rear setback for the lot. And these are pushed back. This is about 7 feet from the property line, the existing house. So it's very close. And yeah, for the most part, that's, I think, what we wanted to really cover. And just to emphasize that this does meet, if I go back to sharing. Yeah, we just did a basic section analysis just showing the existing profile. This is the new house, but the existing profile of the one-story structure is basically duplicated, and it's within pyramid. So that is.
Can I just ask one question? Is the existing house 3 stories?
This existing structure is 2 stories.
2, okay.
And just because of the nature of the slope, as it's dropping from like 20 something feet elevation down to, you know, 10 or 11 down here. Instead of having a detached garage, the thought was to consider having an attached garage that is below. I mean, it's not obviously going to leave much more than about 7 feet in terms of clearance. It's larger here, but this was just using a 1-story roof element. The idea was that we could possibly get an attached garage in this layout. So this is conceptual again, but figuring that we have a 2-story, which is slightly longer than this, but all the other elements do relate to the original roof pitch and size of the house.
Yeah, the garage is actually pushed below the first floor. It's actually in the basement or cellar at that level. And Eric did a nice job of trying to make that work. It's tight. It's hard to get it to work, but I think his suggestion of the 1-story element on the far right side, to buffer or to soften that transition because of the topography change was actually very, very good. And whether it's a garage or whether it's a walkout from a basement level is another thing that just happens to have a structure over the top. We'll figure that out when we get into in the next phase. But for now, it's important to just see how that works. The articulation between the existing to the connector to the new 2-story, and then with that small garage shed. I think I liked it. I think it really kind of makes it look more balanced. I guess, I mean, I don't know, obviously fire away questions, but that's what we got so far. We don't have a whole lot more detail other than what Eric has shown.
So I'm curious. I do remember, you know, your opening comments, but I do remember some of our comments. Can you, either you or Eric, please remind us of kind of what the criticisms or the comments and suggestions were? I remember being massing proximity to the street.
Right. Well, Eric wasn't actually at the meeting. It was just myself. And yeah, my takeaways were that, you know, you had to be mindful of of the existing house that you can't, you try the best you can to not make it be overwhelmed with the addition. We talked about ridge height and the topography. Actually, believe it or not, that addition has a ridge height, what is it, Eric, about a foot higher than?
Yeah, it's a little higher than a foot.
But definitely under 2 feet, maybe 1'7" or something like that, which is fairly commendable considering that other projects are ended up, I think it was noted in the last meeting, 32 Glover, I think there's a 5-foot differential between those two houses. And the ridge of those houses. So those comments are what I took away. And obviously one of the things we did is put the front door back to where it was originally, again, trying to make that the existing structure have some prominence relative to the other portion. And we did get a difference of 16 feet between the front wall of the existing and the new addition. So I think the renderings and the 3Ds give you a better feel rather than a two-dimensional drawing of where things relate to one another. That's what I took.
I would also add, I do remember from both the zoning board, the idea was to try to eliminate asking for variances.
Right.
And to think about a connector.
Yep.
And so clearly you've taken, a look at how you could possibly do that and make it work for you. So I know those were
Yeah, that's correct.
thoughts that were shared.
Dean, I have a couple of observations, if I can
Sure,
share.
Zach. Go ahead.
Obviously, given the constraints of the building envelope, the proposed addition is narrow but very long, and that's the side that that fronts the street. So, I would suggest that, given the fact that this is a natural slope from left to right and into the area where the new addition is proposed, that although it would require the applicant to live with a couple of steps down, which of course is very popular in the 1930s, it may not be that popular anymore, but from the connector, stepping into the addition, if they could take advantage of the natural drop in grade and step down into that part of the house, it would effectively minimize the height of that foundation, which is rather, aesthetically a little overwhelming, but it would also drop the pitch of the entire addition to below the existing house, which is what you're looking for.
Well,
that's the first of my two observations.
Okay.
The other is that although the existing house is a little quirky and it has these little additions, to me, taking them off robs the house of some of its visual character, and it's just left to look like a plain box. So I would suggest that some greater effort be made to preserve the existing house, and not take off these quirky little thingers that make it, and for example, the front door is not where that left window is. That's not where the door is. And I don't know that there's any evidence that suggests that it ever was there.
It actually is right there in the picture, which Eric is showing. There's the outline. If you go to the property, it's easy to see.
Okay,
where they just
right.
in.
Okay, so if that could be shown, to have been the way it was, and this back extension is on concrete block foundation, right. And so all I'm saying is that the rendering now shows it to be a perfectly plain rectangular box without any particular aesthetic interest, and that's not what it is now. So that's just an observation. But for me, the bigger point is that the scale of that proposed addition, which now is 3 times the size of the existing house, is even exaggerated in size because of its height and because of its higher roof line. And I think that if it were a flat site, you'd have a tough time trying to figure that out. But since the grade drops like what, 3 or 4 feet from left to right, if you'd be willing to live with a house that you step down in, I think that would address that problem.
2 things. One is to your first comments. I don't know that in fact, quite frankly, I don't think that the grading that you're seeing is actually going to be what's going to result. You won't see as much of that foundation, primarily because the innovative alternative on-site waste treatment system is going to be sitting in that portion between the addition and the street. And it's going to have to be flattened out. You can't have a big slope. So you won't see as much of that foundation. There will end up being a retaining wall of some sort that'll have to be there sort of perpendicular to the house. So it's not going to be that visible, but that's one thing. The second thing is that, Eric, even with my insistence, essentially got to the point where he said, and I agree with him, what you're seeing has 2 steps already in this plan. We have steps. We have to come down 2 steps in order to make the thing work, the roof line work with the pyramid.
Where are the steps? I don't see the steps.
Well, it doesn't, where the steps are going to be.
Yeah, there's a step.
Quite honestly.
Yeah, there's 2 risers.
Yeah, there's 2 risers. I don't know that I necessarily agree with where they are put, but I will say we're going to, looks like if we want to go variance free, we have the steps. Now, to be honest with you, if we didn't have the steps, I think we'd have 100 cubic feet of variance, which is probably the smallest request for variances that I've heard in a lot of these meetings. But in order to be 100% compliant, I agreed to have those steps in there. And we're only a foot less, 1.5 feet in terms of ridge differential. I was surprised that we could get that close. And so anyway, relative.
I hear what you're saying, but because the entire length, which is quite long, of the proposed addition faces the street, the scale of it relative to the original house and the height of that ridgeline is exaggerated. If it were just a gable front going off in the other direction, it might not be that, visible. But it's the entire length of the house, and it is obviously more than a foot higher, and it just seems exaggerated to me. So I'm only suggesting that if you were somehow able to take advantage of the natural slope that permits you to drop it down a bit, that would be helpful. But it's just my.
Yeah, I will add though, again, just for the sake of the modeling that I did, I just left it as an existing slope. Certainly to Ralph's point, this would have to be raised just for the on-site sanitary drywall, etc. And yeah, I've been an advocate of having the building, fall with the natural slope. So, I mean, those are points. I mean, 18 inches over this amount of distance. I mean, the perspectives are very kind of forced, the renderings that is. I think in reality, I feel like if we were to walk past this, I don't think that would be a major concern, but, I respect your opinion. I just, I feel like 18 inches where you have vanishing points and perspectives, it's really, we have stepped it, but certainly we could develop the idea further. Ralph's been really opposing the idea of steps just for accessibility for certain people in his family. So that's just kind of where we're at. But certainly this is the same, roof slope, pitch, gable width, and that was, to get a respectable first floor and just the minimum height on the second floor for a 6A window. That's why that is where it is. And, certainly we could go lower and have additional steps and that would minimize it. I just professionally don't feel like that's, 18 inches within, kind of that space is probably lost. So, again, I mean, I think a lot of it is just the way the rendering's presented, and then also the amount, like your comment of how much is exposed is more than what would be shown with final grading, etc.
So let me ask a question here, because is this, Zach, is the original house historic?
Yes,
So.
it's one of the, yeah, it's
doesn't the
contributing.
Doesn't the Secretary of the Interior say, basically it has to be subservient, the
Yes.
addition of the alterations? So I
Right.
think that's what Zach's discussing. So that leads me to ask you, what are your floor to ceilings on the ground and second floor of your addition?
Yeah, so as of now, we've got 9 foot on the first floor, so 8 foot head height. The existing, I think, is 7 foot something on the first floor. So that's the 2 steps gets us, you know, or however that works out. I think Ralph knows. I have the existing drawings I can pull up. One moment.
The second floor, the plate height, I think you said, Eric, was at like 7'2" or something like that? 7'4" or 7'2". That's just so that we can get a standard 6'8" door, which is not a tall door, in the second floor bedrooms and closets and whatnot. And
Right, but that's not your floor to ceiling on the second floor.
it's the
What's your
plate
floor to
height,
ceiling?
but the second floor ceiling could go anywhere from 7 feet to, if you want to vault everything, it goes to wherever you want it to go. So,
yeah, I mean, the plate is close to 7, and then your ceiling could be 9 foot, 10 foot, depending on if you need attic space.
or it could be 8 feet, because we do need attic space to put mechanicals. So we're not, again, I'll look at various plans that have been approved that were on contributing structures. 32 Glover was 9'7" on the first floor and like 8'6" on the second floor.
Did they see the ridge height of the original building?
The ridge height was 5 feet higher than the existing. And this was approved in January of this year.
I don't think it's really helpful to look at other projects. I think the board is really looking at this project and what is the impact of what you want to build. And typically, to Mr. Williams' point, what's preferred is for the addition to be lower. So if it were 18 inches lower instead of 18 inches higher, there's a 3 foot difference there. So what's being proposed is considerably higher, and it is not considerably lower. So I think that's just something that ought to be sort of looked at further.
We'll look at it, but I do believe that there's got to be some consistency in how you evaluate properties that are fairly similar. But you know, all I can say is, are you okay with taking the pitch down of the existing so it's inconsistent with the original house?
I don't think that's a good
No.
approach. No.
I didn't think so, you know, but that's something that could lower that ridge. Like I said, we went pretty above and beyond, quite frankly, to get it as close as it is.
But it's still not good enough, so it
Can
needs more work.
I ask you, Ralph, do you have anything of your other options that you'd like to show us, the ones that you were more supportive of?
They're longer houses and they're taller.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We were trying to
Sums
find
it up.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that if you want a smaller house, it requires giving up with allowable gross square feet or variances, or both. And, you know, I don't need to go, I don't think I can be pushed to going to a variance. I could be wrong, but those are two things that would be required to change in order to get a smaller footprint or house. I mean, this is one of the things I expressed to the planning board, the zoning board, that, you know, an addition is going to be, it's not going to be small, but it's going to but it's in compliance with code. So, you know, we can go back, Eric and I, we can go back and look and see what we can do. if there's any tweaks we can make. But I think the ridge is going to be a little difficult. I really do. I mean, I just can't see putting in many stairs into this house. It's it has a big impact. And other than that, to try to lower the ridge from 3 feet, you want me to take it down to 18 inches below?
Yes, that would be good. And perhaps even further if possible, because as it is, the massing in relation to the original house is just too much. I'm sorry, I didn't get your original proposal because you were here, I guess you said in August, and I was not here. So this is my first look.
There was no proposal at that meeting.
Okay,
Just
or
a discussion.
whatever
Can I
whatever
just-
you presented, I have not seen. This is my first look at this. And I agree with Zach that it's too bad to lose some of the more interesting aspects of the original house, which I think need to be preserved because of the standards of the Secretary of Interior for historic houses, that you can't just tear them to pieces. And I like the connector piece. I think that's well done.
Yes.
But the huge addition, which is way larger than the original house, is just it just simply is wrong for Sag Harbor. Sag Harbor doesn't have places like that, and if they do, they got in under somebody's watch.
If we a couple of comments, the actual the length, the depth, I should say, of the existing house is a little bit under 39 feet. We took off about 6 feet off the back. The addition that you're saying that's huge is 40 feet. And the width of the addition is 22 feet, a little more than 22, and the width of the, or I should say the depth, the width of the existing house is 22 feet and 2 inches. So the actual footprint of those two blocks, if you will, are almost identical. It's just that the existing house doesn't have 2 stories going up through its entire depth. So that's obviously one thing to consider. As far as the thing, I don't know how to call them, the additions or the bump outs on the existing house. I mean, I would say that there are 3 of them. There's
Right.
the front door, which was approved in 2012, and I think in fact 2 years ago when I first presented, I believe that was not considered very desirable by the board.
Okay.
They actually, and Zach, I think you were one that said you would actually prefer the door be put back to where it was originally.
Okay.
The other, Eric, if you can go back to that same drawing or same picture, yeah, the bump out to the left was actually closing in a porch. There's still a door behind that. You can see the outline of something that was filled in.
Yep.
It's not currently even conditioned space today. It's basically they just closed in the porch. And I don't know when that was done. I would say sometime in the early part of the 20th century, somewhere, based on the limited amount of drawings. The rest of the additions that wrap around the back were done in the 70s. As you said, the block foundations and stuff like that. We're actually keeping that section right there on the first level.
What about the second floor? This disappears also, doesn't it?
Well, that part, yes, that does. It's about 150 square feet that we didn't use, and we took that out. I could see us, I mean, part of the reason why we, if you see the blue outline of the existing house, we eliminated that because as you said, the building envelope is very tight. The pool setbacks are very tight, and we didn't want to go for a variance. I mean, we could keep the whole 38 feet and go that, so we can keep that full depth. We'd have to go for a variance on the pool, but not on the house. I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, Zach, but aren't you okay with getting rid of that front bump out where they put the door on the side?
That one I can see doesn't have much character, but or look, historical. It looks like it's been a renovated thing. And as you said, you have the structural evidence to indicate where the original front door was.
I mean, it's in the.
But I do think that but when you look at the house, from this side, it extends further back, and but there's a break in the roof. There's just architecturally, there's just more going on that wall now than what we're looking at now.
We realized that we didn't intentionally leave. Well, actually, we didn't intend to not have windows on those walls. It's just we didn't put them in.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at that other side. When you look at the other side of the house from the street, it's a more interesting. Not this. This is the what, north side.
So these are are you seeing both at the same time? Because I don't know if is that.
Yeah,
are you seeing, or never mind, you're only seeing, I got you.
We're looking at the furniture in the backyard. Yeah. So
I can't do a split screen apparently. I was going
to. No. I understood.
No,
I'm just saying,
yeah, the idea was that this was the second floor. If I could trace it in, like, let's say the original roof line was here.
Okay, so that doesn't look anything like the existing house. That side. And that's when you come down Liberty Street, that's the wall that you see. So I'm only suggesting, and Judy was saying that more of that existing house, we're jumping around. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to lock on to.
That's okay. No. I can't imagine there. If you
this is the side that you would see as you come from.
Yeah, hold on.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that. So yeah, so all that we did was we were obviously
okay. So it's there.
We eliminated that one.
Okay, and I can see eliminating the sort of that fussed up now front door up in the foreground, but there are windows on that side. There's that second story that extends.
Yeah, so that's what we hold. Here. We hold. We feel that there's a joint here, and that's where my second floor ends. And then we're just bringing this roof line out to meet that. That's, I understand your point that there is a joint.
We actually extended the main roof back a few feet. And then
this is removed though. This second floor, the first floor rather, the first 6 feet of this is eliminated.
As is the second floor. And the windows have disappeared. So I'm just saying that
there will be windows. We just didn't put them in for the conceptual. We just it was just more of massing look at the blocks. We could, like I said, we could keep more that other 6 feet on the first floor, that we could maintain that. That was one of the things. We're just trying to avoid a variance. And because you can't, what you're left with in terms of setback of pool setback to the house is almost, less than 10 feet, maybe 9.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Zach, this was the line that we were holding for the second floor. And, it's true. We're making the argument that we would fill in up to here, with that roof. And then that's,
I guess all I'm saying is that a pool or some other, improvement of the site, cannot be the reason for why the existing house has to be reduced in size. I mean, that's not the argument. So because, I mean, you obviously want to build what you want to build and live in the home the way you want to live in it, and all the rest of it, which is, of course, you're right. But because of the constraints of the buildable lot and all that stuff, getting everything in there that you want can't be the reason why some of what's there already, which is the listed structure, has to be taken away.
Okay. Well, we can, I know we can, because one of our alternatives that you really was, we started out keeping that full footprint of the existing house.
Mm-hmm.
I know we can, I think we can work out a way to make that happen. There were different roof lines in the back, but
yeah,
Eric has proposed was actually similar to what was there, except it was just reversed or twisted. And there, in terms of that 1-story hip that was in the back. As far as that bump out that used to be a porch, I mean, we may be able to incorporate some kind of bump out as we feel like there should be a door there, because
sure, it looks like it had a door.
Right, a side door that would really help for, it quite frankly, would probably be the most utilitarian door in the house, because it's likely that there'll be storage, kitchens and stuff like that in this portion of the house. So it's good to unload groceries and things like that. Maybe even like a small mudroom that we can somehow fashion so it's there.
Okay. And I think you could justify removing the hipped extension off the back that wraps around to the side that sits on concrete block as being legitimately not, a function or whatever aspect of the historical house. But right now, the massing of the original guy has been reduced to this simple little box. It doesn't have the 2-story extension carrying that wall back, which I think it appears to have been done at an early point. So, I mean, we can't discuss this all night, but I'd say what you see there is probably what should be saved.
I do have one comment.
I agree.
I do have one comment.
No.
If I remember originally, you talked about massing, and that really what you're proposing as the extension was pulled forward towards the street, and that we thought that was overwhelming. It seems that your response was to push it as far back as the building envelope will let you go. So my question is, there might be a median point where you can actually increase the square footage of your foundation by, let's say, if you moved it back 16 feet, I think that was the comment you made. If it was 8 feet, you might be able to shorten the length of your extension and have the same amount of volume.
Well, we took out 6 feet, but you really can't go back. If Eric can blow that up, we're almost sitting on the rear setback line.
Right.
We can't go back further.
No, my point is, if you move the extension forward.
The extension you want closer to Liberty?
If you do that, but it's not quite as long, maybe it's 1 bay shorter, but you take up the volume in the back of the house?
You end up violating pyramid.
Really?
Yes. We're only 23 feet off that front, off of the property line. I mean, we could be 20, but if you're at 20, you violate pyramid with what we have.
And the challenge too is that, this is the pinch right here, wherever it is, is the lower elevation. It does help moving the building forward, but, certainly lowering or aligning ridges, could be one solution where that would get us, obviously, we could possibly inch the building closer and make it more compact. Those are all, viable solutions to look into.
That's the thought. Thank you.
So, but the overriding comment about it being huge, we can shrink. I think we can take out some feet of the connector because it was, it's a little bit more fungible, that connector, and how it's used. But overall, we are, to make it be a significant reduction would be, like I said before, you're asking to basically say, give up the allowable development rights. And, I guess that's a different discussion. Unless we come up with a different plan that has variances that are required that make it more compact. But then now we got to go to the zoning board, and if they say no, then I'm back to having nothing again.
So what I think, Ralph, we appreciate all the continued work that
Yep.
you and Eric are doing in trying to come up with a solution that works for you, and also helps us to preserve the existing historical home and keep it in line with the way it should. So if you could play a little bit more with the width versus the length as discussed, potentially shrink the connector, and see what those variable options present to you, and make sure it's allowing for the interior space that works for your new proposal. Why don't you look at that? And given that we have gone past the typical time limit that we do in discussions, I'm going to ask that we table it for now, and that you could come back either with your new one as a discussion if you prefer, or if you would like to actually present, and then you would have all the windows and the different things that I think are making us hesitant or not really fully understanding what you would like to present. It'll make it potentially a little easier for us.
Yeah, I think, there's a big step, no pun intended, between the informal and the formal and the requirements of a formal application. And quite honestly, because of the amount of time and effort.
Well, here's what I would say. For something that we're not asking you to present the full thing that would, with all the construction pieces and the cuts, et cetera. If you just, for the ARB, are going to be showing us the exterior, which is what we are focused on,
Right.
as well as the relationship to the existing historical, and with the elevations, I mean, things that are important so that we can help to make a decision for you, but not full construction plans. That is also acceptable. And that'll help us be able to continue to guide you.
Okay. We'll do it.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Yep. Good luck.
Thanks very much. Okay, the second discussion item that we have is 30 John Street.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can, yes, thank you.
Okay. Matt Ivan, Suffolk Environmental. I just wanted to bring this to you guys because we'll be doing a formal submission for this once we get past the Harbor Committee. This is an application for a 16 by 28 pool. We received Zoning Board of Appeals approval for it already. And I'm just really here tonight just to get your thoughts about this and maybe ask some questions from you guys, if that's okay, just for some guidance. Carrie, can I share my screen? Is she there? I don't know if she's there.
I think you can just, I think you are able to.
Okay, hold on one sec, y'all. I'll make this quick, you guys, I know.
And when are you going to the Harbor Committee?
I already have a pending application with them. I'm pretty much down to the last notice of incomplete application, and I figured I'd just come to you guys just to get you guys familiar with it and just ask some questions. But I'll go through this real quick. This is the current site conditions on the left side, if you guys can see that.
Yes.
We got the existing septic system, the concrete block systems. What we're going in for is, again, this 16 by 28 foot pool. We're removing that existing septic system. We're doing an IA system up here. We're actually down there, southwestern corner. We're removing a shed and small patio here. And we're also removing a patio over here to replace it with gravel. That's really about it. Let me just show you. This is a shot from the front. The pool's going to go in this general vicinity beyond this hedgerow here. We are going to have to remove this rather large linden for two reasons. One, for the replacement of the septic system, and for the installation of the pool. I don't know, the tree's pretty mature, it's pretty old. It doesn't seem to have a lot of early leaf loss, so it seems like I don't think it's that healthy anyway. I just want to know, do you guys have any immediate thoughts about this or concerns?
Anyone have any questions?
It doesn't sound like it, actually. Questions to the board. Do you want a landscaping plan? The reason I ask this is there's not going to be much landscaping. It's going to be lawn around the proposed pool and maybe some foundation plantings along the house here and here. I could provide that. Would the board want that?
That would be helpful. I would also say you're going to want to have screening for any of the mechanical or
Sure.
that we do need to see and know height and width and description of what that would be.
Okay.
And obviously whatever fencing you're going to be putting around your pool.
Yeah, and sure. And do you guys want us to go as far as to kind of give you a color of the interior of the pool? It's going to be gunite.
No.
Okay. And the coat.
And if you're going to be removing this tree so that you can make the changes that you are doing, will you plant an additional tree in a different spot to replace?
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine the property owner has no problem with that. I mean, it's a linden. She could replace it with another linden.
Okay.
I don't think she has a problem with that at all, to be honest.
We could look to see, and that could be part of
The
what you would
landscape
submit.
plan.
That would be helpful.
Okay. I think that is about it. All right. That's it. I just want to familiarize you guys with it and ask some questions. So I appreciate your time.
We appreciate yours. Any other?
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
All right, with that, I believe we can adjourn the meeting and close the discussion item and make a motion to adjourn the meeting unless anyone has anything they want to add.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you. You too, Lady Chair.
Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, all.